What's going on, y'all? So, as we all know, this is the most corrupt administration ever in American history, and it's not even particularly close. A lot of what I've been focusing on lately is the just rampant corruption on full display from Trump's DOJ, where they're slow rolling the release of the Epstein files and they're heavily redacted, even though that's in complete violation of the law that Trump himself signed. Trump signed this law, but they were supposed to release it. They had a 30-day notice. They've been hanging on to this stuff all year, and they still haven't gotten all the information out. But I actually want to get into the global corruption of the Trump regime and just how bad it is, not just within the United States. So I've got a couple of really cool pieces. One is from Zateo, which is Mehdi Hassan's outlet, and then the other one is Robert Reich, and he's got his own thing called Inequality Media. They do a really good job of breaking everything down. So I'm going to get into it. You guys are going to do me a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the bell icon as well, and that way YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new video. All right, so this first one is Zateo, and this goes over all the countries that have pretty much bought Trump. So his first one is Switzerland. What they gave: a delegation of Swiss billionaires gave Trump an engraved gold bar worth $130,000 and a Rolex desk clock. What they got: tariffs lowered from 39% to 15% 10 days later. So, I mean, you give them a gift, and what do you want? Oh, we want our tariffs to be lowered. Sure, yeah, of course, I'll lower the tariffs. You just give me gold and give me a nice clock, and I'll do that for you. The president of the United States is so transactional. He's so easily manipulated. The second one is from Qatar. Actually, I think pretty much everybody knew about this one because it's made a huge amount of news. So Qatar, what they gave: a luxury Boeing 747 jetliner to the U.S. Government to serve as the new Air Force One, according to ABC. The ownership of the plane will be transferred to Trump's presidential library at the end of his term. What they got: 3 days after the jetliner was offered, Qatar became the first customer for Raytheon's fixed site, low, slow, small, unmanned aerial systems integrated defeat system. FSLIDS for short. Designed to counter unmanned aircraft. So, Qatar gives Trump a plane even before they do any of the upfitting and retrofitting to make it so that it can be Air Force One. This thing is worth like $400 million, and it says in there, in the agreement, that this doesn't stay with the U.S. government. This goes to Trump after he's not president anymore. And he just gives them some of the most, like, advanced military technology on Earth. And so, again, really straightforward. You give me a jet, I give you military weaponry. Unreal. So this next one, this one is South Korea. What they gave: a replica of the golden Machong crown and the Grand Order of Machungwa Award, the nation's highest decoration. What they got: a drop in import tariffs on South Korean goods from 25% to 15%, and U.S. approval of the South Korean plan to build nuclear-powered submarines. Again, I think that part of the whole thing with the tariffs is like, well, the tariffs are going to bring in billions of dollars. It's going to be billions and billions of dollars. It's going to be great. He was really using this as a negotiation tactic, not for the country, but for himself. So you give Trump goodies. You give him, you give him a prize. You give him a gold star. You give him an award. You give him a Rolex clock. You give him a plane. And oh, what? You want your tariffs low? Sure, yeah, of course. We'll lower the tariffs on South Korea. Oh boy, just time after time after time, and it could not be more obvious. All right, so this fourth one here, Saudi Arabia. What they gave: the Saudi Arabian real estate company Dar Al Arkan, privately owned and heavily reliant on government contracts, will build and pay for 2 Trump towers, one in Jeddah and one in Riyadh, that will earn the Trump family business millions of dollars in licensing fees. Dar Al Arkan is also set to partner with the Trumps to build an 80-villa resort in the Maldives. What they got: the U.S. signed a new strategic defense agreement and agreed to sell Saudi Arabia F-35s, which are considered the world's most advanced fighter jets, on the same day as the $1 trillion announcement. Jesus fucking Christ. And I mean, like, this is like, it's not new that politicians do this kind of thing, where they work with other governments and it's like, okay, you give us this and we'll give you this, like, you know, military weaponry for whatever. But like, this is going directly to Trump. So they're building 2 Trump towers and he's going to make millions off of the licensing fee. And let's not forget that Saudi Arabia also did the Live Golf event to compete with the PGA or whatever. Like, so Live Golf is like the circuit that a whole bunch of the professional golfers went to, because Saudi Arabia is doing sports washing and they're willing to pay athletes like millions and millions of dollars more to do that for the Saudi Arabian league instead. And Trump's golf courses are used by Live Golf. So he's making money off of Saudi Arabia from that as well, although it's not mentioned here. And even in his first administration, Trump was doing crazy, ridiculous, corrupt things with the Saudi Arabian government. There was a thing where it was like Saudi Arabia was committing a genocide in Yemen, and they wanted more weapons, and so we knew this was going on. A bunch of Saudi officials came to Washington, D.C. They stayed in Trump's hotel in Washington, D.C. in the first term. They paid like $100,000 a room or something crazy like that. And there was an effort to stop the genocide in Yemen by Congress, and I think it was Mike Lee and Bernie Sanders who got a bipartisan thing where they were like, look, we're not going to fund Saudi Arabia for this. And then the Saudis come to DC and they stay in Trump's hotel and they talk to him, and Trump vetoed that decision and gave Saudi Arabia a $12 billion weapons deal. Unfucking real. He should have been impeached for that his first term, by the way. Giant violation of the Emoluments Clause. But like this regime, this term, just puts his first term to shame in how bad it is. Okay, so 5. Pakistan. What they gave: a Nobel Peace Prize nomination credit for ending its war with India, a wooden box of mineral samples, followed by a shipment of enriched rare earths and other critical minerals as a symbolic gesture. What they got: a tariff rate of 19% compared to India's 25%, and a U.S. firm is also investing $500 million in Pakistan's minerals. Everybody knows Trump wanted the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's just desperate for it, even though he's a fucking warmonger. And so the Pakistanis say like, oh, we'll nominate him for the Nobel Prize, and then we'll also send him, you know, a shipment of rare earths, a promise that like we can go and exploit their rare earth minerals at some other point in the future. And then Trump lowers their tariffs. Again, fucking disgusting. Last one, here we go. The UAE, what they gave: a $2 billion investment in the crypto company Binance using the US dollar. The USD1 is a dollar-pegged stablecoin launched by Trump's family World Liberty Financial crypto venture. What they got: expanded access to advanced and scarce artificial intelligence computer chips from the United States. So again, they are directly putting money into Trump's pocket. This isn't just a thing for the United States. Trump's business, his World Liberty Financial crypto exchange or whatever, he makes money off of every single coin that is bought and sold on that platform. Like, he makes fees off of all of that. But this is all just foreign countries. So I just want to get into what's happening domestically. So here we have Robert Reich. And he used to be the labor secretary under Bill Clinton, and he's an economist and a professor. And he does a really good job breaking down all of the players that are donating to Trump's ballroom and just how open the corruption is. Here, let's take a look.
Is this the most corrupt thing a president has ever done? Trump isn't just destroying the White House to make room for a vanity ballroom. he's selling it off to the highest bidders who conveniently need favors from his regime. Google and Amazon, for example, are both chipping in with massive donations to help fund Trump's Versailles. They both just happen to have massive antitrust lawsuits working their way through the courts. But I'm sure their ballroom donations have nothing to do with that, right? I suppose that Apple's support for the ballroom isn't related to its own legal problems or its desire to remain exempt from Trump's tariffs. Oh, and Meta. It's also involved in a major antitrust suit with the Federal Trade Commission right now, but I'm sure the company is just donating because Mark Zuckerberg is a patriot. Surely it's not because Meta and other big tech companies stand to gain handsomely if Trump maintains his corporate-friendly AI policy.
On that note, there was a hot mic moment that was caught earlier this year where Mark Zuckerberg was talking with Trump, and Trump's busy doing his whole, I've secured over $18 trillion in investment.
How much are you spending, would you say, over the next few years?
Oh, gosh. I think it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, at least $600 billion through 28 in the U.S. Yeah.
It's a lot.
No, it's significant. Sorry, I wasn't ready to do for announcement.
He said I wasn't sure what number you wanted to go with. Well,
and he's getting all of these like promises from from business leaders saying how much they're gonna invest in the country and invest in AI and all this stuff. So because they didn't know they were being caught on a hot mic, but that they're doing this just for the cameras, just for publicity. But here, we'll continue.
Other generous donors to the Ballroom Project include cryptocurrency players like Coinbase, Ripple, and even the Winklevoss twins.
This idea is potentially worth millions of dollars.
millions.
Yes.
Yes, those Winklevoss twins. I'm sure they would be thrilled if Donald Trump kept up his crypto-friendly policies, which he's also cashing in on. And Coinbase's donation probably has nothing to do with the company being under an active regulatory investigation, right?
Yeah, so this is the other thing as well, is that this all really kind of started this has been a thing for a long time, whether you're talking about Google or Apple or Amazon or any kind of big tech company that's worried about, antitrust or some sort of regulation going against them, is that they meet with the president and then suddenly, all of the things get dropped. But this was the main thing for why Elon came on and did his whole Doge thing, right? So this doesn't actually get discussed here, but Elon Musk gave Trump over $270 million to get him elected. And then what was the first thing that he did when he got into government? Elon Musk did Doge. Doge took out a whole bunch of government agencies that were looking into his businesses, and he got rid of regulations on his businesses, and he looted the treasury, and he got a bunch of personal information from us to use for his AI and help build Grok and stuff like that. So it's just all you do is you donate money to Trump and then you get whatever you want.
Some of these powerful corporations might also see the Ballroom Project as a chance to get even more powerful. The railroad giant Union Pacific is eyeing a $72 billion mega merger, which needs approval from federal regulators. And what about Comcast? It also needs government approval for the frequent mergers and acquisitions it pursues. So does private equity executive Steven Schwarzman, the CEO of Blackstone. But I'm sure they just thought a ballroom sounded nice too. Companies that survive on government contracts are also chipping in, including Palantir and Lockheed Martin. How kind of them. Notice a pattern here? The Supreme Court has narrowed the definition of bribery to the point where a specific favor has to be demanded in advance of payment. So we can't say this is bribery exactly. But the writing is on the wall, perhaps literally. These donors could get their names etched into the new White House building itself. Could there be a more fitting monument to the Trump presidency? Because in Trump's White House, everything is for sale. Even the building itself.
Yeah, even the building itself, which was also completely fucking illegal. Like, he started tearing down the east wing of the White House without congressional approval. This is not his personal house. This is not Mar-a-Lago or something. Like, you can't just, this is a historical monument. Like, I used to do work in Charleston, South Carolina, for example, and Charleston has these like historical districts where you have to get approval from the Historic Preservation Society to like change a window pane. And he just tore down a whole side of the White House without approval. That's how unreal this is. And it is quite literally so that people can funnel money to him. And again, this doesn't even cover probably half of it. If you guys remember like the Trump watches where he's like selling watches for $100,000, and then you go to the image and it says that like this is just a stock image. The watch doesn't actually exist. This is just a way for people to buy a watch from Trump and then funnel him a bunch of money and then get some kind of favor on the back end. It's endless. It's fucking endless with this guy. Anyway, if you made it this far, make sure you do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell as well so that you get a notification when whenever I upload a video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.